Welcome to Factorio Masterclass. My name is Nilaus and we are here. This is our Aquila base that we built. We have now unlocked all of the planets and we have sort of come to the end of the first phase of what I think is the 3 phases or 3 acts of Space Age. And basically the first phase is ending with unlocking all the technologies and completing the game with the sort of victory screen. And the second phase is scaling up and working on it with Prometheum and with quality. And the third phase is the mega base if you ever get there. And the last phase, the mega base series, the mega base part is covered by our mega base series. So that's already done. So this will sort of be the culmination or the end of the first phase with us making a victory ship. And then we will, in the future masterclass installments, we will be working on scaling up Prometheum, quality, and when we get to mega base level, then that's going to be taken over by our mega base series that's already been created. So, with that, let's dive on in. Thank you very much to the Patreon supporters for supporting the channel. Remember, all of the designs we do here, they are available to Patreon supporters, but we're also designing them on camera, so if you're not a Patreon supporter, you can still get something out of it. Plus, there's another part of it, and that is the design process that we are involved in is also it's also really important and also part of sort of learning how to play the game and get inspired. Even if you played hundreds of hours or thousands of hours like I have, then still something new comes up. Almost every stream there's something new, you go like, oh, that's interesting. So that's what we're going to do today. We are going to build our ship. We have built this little template here. The first thing I want to do, basically all the things we want to do, we want to build power, we want to build front defenses, we want to build a factory to produce all the ammo, and then we want to produce fuel. So that's basically the elements that goes into all of this. I'm going to be using some of my templated designs because they are, well, honestly, really good. So we're going to start with the first part, and that's going to be our power plant. We're going to be using fusion power because we have fusion power. This part here will generate 100 megawatt each, and the neighborhood bonus makes it into 200 each, so it means 400. That means we need to get a total of like that. There, that's 8 of these, and that can be handily done like so. And then just getting all this done. We might as well just do this. There, and then the recycler goes here. And this one needs to be a little bit faster because otherwise it's not fast enough. This will now be doing 8 per second, and each of these are consuming 4 per second of the fluoroketone, and it hits here. The last thing we want is the unbarreler, which will be here. So this is our design, and because it is a little bit off, then we're going to do it like this. And now we have a really nice design, and of course it's not working because we don't have any power, so we're going to start by just getting some solar panels here. There we go. That gets us enough to get this going, and I'm always starting by filling up 20 barrels per reactor. That gets us all we need, and there. Good. So that's working. Power is working, and then let's talk about the general idea. The general idea of this is that I'm going to be making 2 lines around. These sushi lines have been sort of a mainstay of my designs since the very beginning of things actually that we get, well, more than a year ago. For the last year, the sushi design has been my go-to design, and I never would have thought that I would be so happy with the sushi designs. Basically, we have a number of things that we want to keep on stock, and we don't keep stock inside the platform. We keep it as on the belts. Therefore, we need several belts. We have the different ammunition types. We need railguns, so we need railgun ammo. We need rockets, so we need rocket sword. We need rocket swords, so we need rockets, and we need normal, so we need the piercing ammo rounds. Those are the things that we need, and I normally, or later on, you can replace the gun turrets with laser turrets, but that requires heavy research. At this point, we're going to be doing this with research here, explosives. It's only at level 10, and also this one is only at level 10. The railgun is level 5, and the railgun shooting speed as level 3. So this is like the absolute minimum that I would expect you to have by the time you get out here. So the first thing we want to do is we want to design something that's a defense up front, and I have already come up with a good design that I like. So that's going to be what we built here. Yeah, so I guess this is just a little bit off. And there. Nope. And you're gonna go further up. And a little bit more out here. That one, and this one. Okay, so this part is just getting that one done. And up here, I'm gonna move you a little bit up front. So we're gonna be making 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, many. There. And this goes. Then we need the gun turrets or front here. That's. This will be here and oops. Here. We can now cut out the first part. And in between here, we are going to get some collectors. So annoying with this part. Nope, it actually has to be there. Like this. Because this will output here and in there. So I want the outside belt of the inner belt to be turret to be this part, yeah? And then I get here, and then we also need to get some kind of corner thing. We can do this and there. Alright, so this is basically the design at this point. And all of this can then be rotated or flipped like this. And good. Let's see there. Nope. There. That works. And now I just realized the whole thing is one off. All of that goes down. All of this goes out. And then we can actually make it there. Much nicer. And this can also be tied. Okay, so this is now the fully compact build up here. We can take these two. This one, this one, this one. Yeah. Do I like this? No, I don't like this. I don't like it at all. This could also be compacted. So let's also compact this. Because if we look at this part, that could go down here. And the same on this part. There we go. And then... So again, we want to make this as compact as possible. So we have to do this a couple of times. And that should be... Why is that not a thing? Like this? Yes, this like this. And then this goes whee over. And because it's much nicer to pick it up from here. There we go. Okay. So that's the front, and we need to make this thing set on the side. And I think I want that here. This can be okay from here, and then if that goes out here, then it goes on the wrong side. So what if I do this part? There we go. That works. And then we need some turrets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a gun turret here, and let's get 4 more. And another one of these. And of course, this is going to be grabbing from the inner belt, and this is going to be inserting on the inner belt. And the other ones are just going to be sort of picking up from the outer belt. So the outer belt will cover normal ammo and railgun ammo. So this is already the front part of the design here. Let's do this part and flip it. And that should be working just fine. And that and that. Good. So now we have power and we have the front design. We have not set up how they should be targeting. So let's set that up. These will only be shooting at the largest targets. That's not the largest target. There we go. So that goes all the way. There we go. I'm not putting railguns on the side because we don't need it. This ship will go over to the solar system edge, win the game, and then you can bring it back. That's the intention. This one will be set to with a filter later on. But all of these rocket turrets, they will be shooting... Oh, did I just... No, very important to also check that button so it doesn't also shoot at something else. So you're going to be shooting at the medium ones, or not medium, but the large ones. There we go, and ignore everything else. And that gets placed on these, and also out here on the side. And then all the normal turrets, they will be shooting at medium, 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 small, small, and small. And ignore everything else. Good. And then that gets placed on all of these. And down here. And this one. Oh, we just got that one overridden. Perfect. Then there's one exception, and that is this one, and this one. They will also be shooting at the medium one. This is just a flavor thing. You can choose to do it or not. But I like this. This means that, first of all, we'll hear the beautiful sound of railguns more often, and I like. They will, because they'll also shoot at the large asteroids. But what it also will do is, it means that when it gets busy, because these rocket turrets don't have a long range, then we will actually have these two help out so we don't use as much rocket ammo, because rocket ammo will be the one that is mostly constrained. So here we have the front part. Let's work down the second part and work on the actual factory part. Okay, so this side over here also, of course, had to sort of have this merge into the inner line. Well, let's get started on the design work. So we're going to need to do rocket. So rockets look like this. And we want to, of course, use explosive rockets. Explosive rockets deal less direct damage, but they explode. So they have the advantage that they deal AoE damage. And that should be 3 in between. And we're going to get a turret. That should be up here. So this will basically be the design. And it'll be creating not an amazing amount, 1.5 per second. It is what it is, and that's the reason why is because we are basically going to be constrained by explosives, so we can't really scale it up beyond this anyway. What we're going to get is we're going to get a line in here. This one will be for explosives, so that will mean that this one will be explosives and iron, because those are the only two things we actually need for this. So I'm going to do this here, and then we're going to get outbounds. That will be here, here, and I'm making it stacked outbound because that's it's just better. Yeah, and this one is like this. So this is the outbound, and it'll go out to this side. There. It'll be on the inside belt of this. So it combines with the asteroids. That's the first one. Then the next one we want to make, let's start making that over on the other side. That is going to be basically at the same level, and that will be our yellow ammo into red ammo. So I choose to make red ammo because we're going to have to make steel anyway and copper anyway, so might as well make this one, which is way better. And they're going to go in here. And then I'm going to get the iron out on this belt. Let's see how that would work. That would be work something like this. There we go. And then we need this outbound here, and they need to go here and there. That goes on the inside belt. And this will need, that's the iron coming on this belt, and then we need another belt coming in here. We of course also need some this like that. There and there. That will be steel and copper, because that's steel and copper, that's what we need. So all of this is good. Now the last part, which is also going to be quite a lot. By the way, this part is not at ratio. There is a surplus. So let's actually just do it like this. Why is something getting shot up? Man. Let's fix that. So this will make our railgun ammo like that. But railgun ammo is something we need a lot of, so I'm going to do this because I'm sure that it's not going to be enough. Like, this is still only 0.7. It's not much, but it needs to be there. So is this feasible? Well, let's make it like this. So you're going to be taking the steel from in here, and then what else? You need explosives and you need copper cable. So I'm going to need explosives and copper cable coming in here. That we can do that like so. So this will be explosives and copper cable, like that. And the outbound, this will... I don't need to put this as a stacked outbound. Look at this beautiful thing here. Man, you'd think I'd have thought about this one. And like that. Oops. And then this will be a stacked inserter, which goes on the outside belt. So this is all good. All I need to do now is, well, realize that I should probably have left a little bit more room for this. Because now up here, I'm going to make the actual production of this. So this is where we get into the foundry parts. So let's make some foundries. We need the 4 spaces over here because we're going to need there. Good. So 1, 2, 3, because we're going to need some rockets. Like a lot of these things are basically given because there's only so many ways we can do this. So we're going to be doing the iron part. The iron part is here. That's going to be steel, and it's going to be iron. Then the copper part is going to be copper ore and copper and calcite, and then it's going to be cabling, and it's going to be there. That one turns like this, and they go in here and in here. So that's pretty good. I'm going to be doing that for all of it. And then we're going to see if, like, all of this here is all built at ratio. Oh, no, it's not actually. Well, let me build one more here. Is it then built at ratio? It's now built at ratio. So all the intermediates are built at ratio. That means we can rely on the ingredients being actually what we need. So 15.63 is how much iron we need. And if I do this part, then we see if there's any deficit. There's a deficit of iron, so iron is not enough, but everything else of the base resources are enough. So unfortunately, this has to be done with speed modules. And then if you look, oops, look like this again, everything is now positive. Good. So that is going to be it. Now we just need to unwrangle or untangle how we get things in and out. We are going to do this one. Will be just making iron, and it'll be going here. This is covered by this beacon, so that's nice. We're going to be using that, so we don't use as much. And we're going to use the default way of doing this. Yes, I just already ruined it. Because I'll put iron back out on the main belt. Damn. There. This one should be then filtering the iron out. There. Let's get rid of the iron as well. So this one. And then it'll take iron inbound here. Iron ore. Like that. But this is the thing. This is not going to be our main one. Because we also want one that goes down here. I think that might probably already fine. So let's remove this just to clean up. What? How did that one work? Something is inserting on the wrong side. Oh well. Then let's do here. This will be the other recipe. That one. Which will make copper go in here. So copper goes in, but it also has iron to go in. So, what are we going to do with the iron? Well, first we are going to be making it like this. So it goes in. And now we have the issue that the iron is actually stuck. And we're going to fix that in 2 different ways. We are going to be saying, you should not put it in here unless the iron is less than what I need for starting a single craft. This craft takes 50, so I'm saying if it's less than 1 craft, don't put it in there, right? That's seems good. So this one is disabled, and here. While this one always goes out here, but there's also the chance that it actually is going to be a junk thing, so we do need to just junk it out here. But that junk thing will be constrained by here. Read ingredients, and this one will then be constrained by when the copper is 0. Like, if there's no copper here, then it must mean that it's stuck. For example, like now. Then it says, okay, get rid of the iron here, because you need to start crafting some copper to fill into this one. And then it starts filling up. That should work. So that's all good. All of these are producing, and then we just need to start filling it in here. I think that this is the right space, so let's see. Oh, let's start. Let's not do that one. Let's start with the iron part. That's the easiest one. So let's get the iron here, and that goes. And the iron has to go both into this, but also into that one. And the explosives has to come in here, which means explosives come from down there. So explosives there goes in, and it also combines here. And that combines with this ammunition here. Okay, so all of this seems pretty good. I'm kind of feeling that we need to do from here to here. Get this out. And then let's get you in there. And also, which will then go into that one. And there. Why is the steel not working? Why is the steel? Oh, calcite. Oops. We're gonna get this one over here, and that's gonna be making sure that we get calcite in here. But I don't want it to also be the ice. I just don't want here. So let's throw the ice away, and that goes out here. You're gonna be going in here. This one is not very fast. It only produces 0.47, and these two together will consume 0.475. So it's gonna be fine because it's not always gonna work. And that will be yet another underground here, and that goes to go over here and into that one, and then grab. Is it working? I think it's working. Everything is good here. Let's jam some more in, and then it's working, and everything is now working except for the stuff that needs explosives. So let's look at the explosive build and figure out how that's going to be done, because that's horrible. I also think we need a little bit more space. Actually, this ship is longer than we had expected. Cut this out and just get it a little bit further down. It'll be evident soon enough how big it's going to be. Good. So the next part is explosives. How do we make explosives here? Let's see. We're going to be making 2 of these with explosives because they are not particularly fast. And they're going to come out like this and this and there. So that gets us explosives, and they need to 2 per second. That's not fast enough. Let's throw some beacons at this. There. How's this? 5. And like this. We'd rather have productivity, and if you have better productivity modules and speed modules, use them, but I wanted to design this without using anything. So this will make 8.3, but it also needs quite a lot of coal, so that's the challenge. Now this design is pretty much my favorite design, or one of. It's a very cute little build, and it's very meticulous, and it jams super easy, but you can make sure that it doesn't jam. So that's what we're going to do here, and I'm going to explain it. So the first thing is, you are not allowed to put productivity modules into this one because it ruins the ratio. The thing is, this one, explosives require 1 coal and 1 sulfur, and 1 coal is made by 5 carbon and 1 sulfur. So net for this one to go, it's actually going to be 5 carbon and 2 sulfur, which just happens to be exactly what this one is producing per craft. So this is why we do it this way. We actually want this one to run really quickly, and we also now know exactly where this has to be. There. Like so. Then I need to do this. This is going to be sulfur, but I want to make sure that it only sends 1 at a time. And this one will also be sulfur. And this one will be sulfur. Only 1 at a time. Because when this one completes a craft, it'll generate 2 sulfur. And those 2 sulfur have to go 1 in there, 1 in there. Otherwise, the recipe jams. The carbon, not so vulnerable. All carbon goes in here. All the coal goes up here. So this one is coal just to... It's not really important to do it, but just so that we can see the flow. And that will not jam if we do it properly. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to flip it and put it over there as well. And then we need the water coming in. So that's water here, actually that's going to be a jump there. So you're going to get the water in this set. And this water will come from the fuel production. So we now know this part here. And then let's also get the other one. There we go. That is going to be the size of the ship. So the only thing we're missing is now the fuel production. And can we jam it in here? Well, of course we can. We can just barely jam it in here. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We are going to just build here. 1, 2, and 3. That's exactly how much. This will be water from ice, and the other ones will be the oxidizer, the complex oxidizer recipe. Yes, we're going to get beacon in the middle, which will be here, so it affects everyone. Then we're going to do the same thing on the other side, like this, but this will now be the rocket fuel, and that also goes water on this side. But we also do need water to be, whoops, and also this should be, like, just use productivity modules whenever we can. I need water to be stored, so let's do this. That's just the simpler way. So now it's one single water supply here. I'm going to make all of this productivity modules, so good. Now I need the inbounds. That's going to be here and here. And this will be ice and calcite, the one that's over here, and the other one will be iron ore and carbon. So that's now our objective. So let's build the yeah, let's do it like this. This will be carbon like that, and this will be iron like this. So these now need to be ejected. Here, this is carbon. Here it's important to make sure that we have the recipe set or the filter set, otherwise they start putting fragments out. So this one goes in here, and the other one is now going to be interesting because that has to go on the other side, and that can be done like this. And all we need to do is this one, and then that's working. Okay, so let's get some ice cubes here. That's going to be there, and this will be something because we need a lot of water here. So this will have to be so like this, and I'm going to just show it like this and then show how it's not working. This will be ice. If I do this, then of course I'm going to have ice on both sides, which is not really what I want. So I can do that one. And I can take you up here to put in the calcite on the other side. So now calcite goes on the right hand side and these two go on the other side. But what happens is now, this one will be the normal one. That one. Is that it might actually end up using too much of the normal, and therefore this one jams because it can't get rid of the ice. So I have to make sure that it's prioritized, and I do this in the most beautiful way. This is a priority because when they are put on the belt, the one that is on the left hand side, which is from here, will be prioritized first on the merge into the side merging here. So this will actually just automatically side balance this. Oh, these are actually not correct. These now need to be flipped. This one flipped, yeah. And this one flipped. Because we want to output so they could potentially recycle them. There we go. And that is working. We just need now here, 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 and here. And that is basically it. We just need these two to go down. Oh, right. I was kind of wondering why I want to have this there. And this goes down here to the engines. This goes down to the engines. Good. So now we have the entire... Look at how compact it is. It's so beautiful. It is indeed. And up here we're going to have like a recycler for the one we have on every single one of our ships. So that one. Here it's a little bit different shape here, but this is basically saying whatever is too much of will be reprocessed into the other ones. So we're going to be copying this one and adapting it over on our own chip. There we go. So now this is set up, and what I'm going to do here is I am going to monitor the entire belt. There we go. And that gives us input here. I'm going to set this to 200 and... well, it's 200. It's a good number for this size ship. 200 and 200. Good. So now we have a recycling here. And all of this, all we need to do is just build the rockets. That will be here. And just going to make sure that it's aligned in the middle. That one. And... there we go. Make sure that it's aligned in the middle. There, 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 and... and this one goes out here and here. Good. So now, this is a little bit funny how this works. And you're going to be like this. Good. So, in order for us to feed this... oh, that's not pipes. That is definitely not pipes. That's pipes. So, I'm going to feed it into the pipes here. Why are these not getting built? There we go. And over here. So, by having this pattern, I only need to feed it in once. So I need to feed this is going to be the oxidizer, and as much as I'd like to just jam it in here, then I do want to put it in a box first. I think. Well, yeah, I think I want to put it in a box. And the irony is that the box is actually better suited to be positioned right here and right here, even though it makes no sense. And the reason is that I need to make sure that it goes first into a storage and then gets pumped out. So that means this one pumps out here, like that. First storage, and then it pumps into the engines. And then that means the whole thing here is going to be a little bit weird. That's going to be over here, and that's going to be here. And that now gets in here. And then I have to sort of feed it back. I'm going to do that with a little bit of... like this. Nope. And then that goes from here to here and go in. So that is working. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to send it to only be active some of the time, and therefore I'm copying from the other ship here. That one. This is just a counter that counts to 100. You can see here. It counts to 100 and restarts, which means that I can now use this as a measure for how big of a percentage of the time this one should be active. And I'm just going to set it to counter there, less than 20%. So we're only going to be flying at 20% thrust once we're out. And that's the fuel. So now all I need to do is set up the rockets down the side and make sure that, yeah, something is not working. But we'll figure out why that's not working. No water. Oh, right, yes, because it's simply not getting enough. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to be setting up the ammo. It's basically just going to repeat this pattern here into the next part. So the only thing we're really missing on this ship is the controls, and we have this beautiful little simple control here. Actually, it's missing something. It's missing here. This control is basically saying here I will dictate what I want, and there we go, and then how much I want of it. So this one will be 200 of each of these. This is just one place that you set this up exactly what you want. There, a ship, and this means that there's a single place to control it. I want 2,000 of this, and I want the other rockets, and I want 1,500 of these, and then I also need this one mission. Oh, and I want 1,000 of that. There we go. So once I have this, I should be fine. I also don't think I want this or need this much, because I should be producing it as it comes along. So this way it works is that it goes, and then I use a radar. This is just something I use a lot here, because I have taken down here, I have taken the content of these two boxes, put it into a radar on the green wire, and therefore I can take it out of the radar here, like that, and you can see we get this information out. We just need a green signal going from the signal from the radar, which comes from the capacity of the fuel tanks, and then we need to monitor these two belts like this. So now I get the content of the belt and the content of the storage boxes, and then that comes out over here. Then this is how much additional asteroids we want, and therefore I can use the output of this to go in here. This is just for carrying the signal moving forward, and there, and this goes all the way down here to target, to bring that signal all the way in to all of the grabbers, because then they will now be from here. I will just set the filter, so now it's going to be filtered based on exactly what it needs. There we go. So now this is controlled. The only thing we're missing is to set the conditions for us to depart the system, and that'll be this one, and it'll be this one, and it'll be this one. So now, if this is a negative number, then we have enough. And you can see we still need to produce quite a lot of rockets and quite a lot of railguns. And once we have all of that, we will get a signal going from here, going into that one. And this will be the signal for us to allow to be going from this location. And also this one should be just mark a green signal here when it receives a green signal inbound. There. The only thing kind of missing is a small little improvement here would be just setting up some kind of monitoring, just to set up how much we actually have of each of us, so we kind of have a little visual indicator instead of having to go in here and check how much we have. Okay, our ship is now ready to go, and basically we were just waiting. Here we can see this. What I've done is I've taken the amount divided by 20, which gets us a percentage of how much we need. Here divided by 15, percentage of what we need, and here divided by 10 as a percentage. And then these ones are just simply displaying whether it's more than 25, more than 50, and more than 75, and more than 100%. And as we can see, it's still the rockets that are lacking severely. So what we can do at this point is we can, since we're not really picking up a lot here, we can actually just send it to Vulcanus and back again, because then on Vulcanus, on the trip to Vulcanus, it will pick up a lot of resources, and basically just let it go back and forth between the inner planets until it's ready, and then when it's ready, we will be able to just send it out to the solar system edge. It will go to Aquilo, where it will pick up more fuel. Otherwise it's going to be a bad time, and then it'll go all the way out. So let's put it to the test and see how it works. We now have the ship sitting on Nilaus, and it is ready to go. It's happy. It's just waiting for this 30-second timer to pass, and then it'll head out. Because it has all the resources it wants. You can see here, everything is good. And then from now on, it will be activating. Come on, activate. Damn. So close. All right. And go. Right, so now the ship is on our way, and it will go directly out here. This is the intention, is that you design the ship on Nilaus, you make sure that it flies a little bit back and forth so it gets enough asteroids, and then you can just basically sit it on Nilaus and then until it's ready, and then when it's ready it'll do the rest of it itself. So let's monitor how that goes. Nothing much is going to happen until we get to the other side of Aquilo. We have now passed, we're now on the way to Aquilo. And you can hear the first railgun shots, which shouldn't happen. It does happen because I've allowed these to shoot at large asteroids, because there will be large asteroids between Gleba and Aquilo, but there will not be any, which means that normally they shouldn't be triggering the railguns, but I have allowed these to shoot at the large ones. So we're shooting a few shots here and there with the railguns. Let's see when the next one is coming in. There's a nice big chunk here, and that should be coming in, and there we go. And shoot. Well, it's nice. And that'll get, the fact that it shoots there just takes a little bit of pressure off of the gun, of the rocket turrets. So this one, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4. Ouch, 4 hits. Like, let's see this one, how many hits it needs. 1, 2, 3, 4 hits. That's a lot, but then these are almost done as well. So 4 rockets, that means if we could get just one more upgrade, it would save a lot on this. So I think that this would be my recommendation, would be like say, hey, let's get one more explosive upgrade. There we go. Let's see how that works on the outside, and that would just be my recommendation. For example, 1, 2, 3. Much nicer, right? Much nicer to have 3 shots going out here. That's much better. So that's a huge difference between upgrade 10 and upgrade 11. So there you go. Get upgrade 11 because that goes from 4 shots to 3 shots. And that will be... I mean, that just there, it saves a lot of resources. And also when this kind of... these impacts here, then they also clear more. Okay, but we are now heading to Aquilo. On Aquilo, we'll be making a short stop. Just to make sure that we have... everything still ready supply, and also that we have all requests satisfied. That means primarily the fusion power cells. It just continued straight across because everything is still green. We still have more than enough of everything. We have 1,200 too many of the pierce rounds, 600 too many of the explosives, and 160 railgun ammos. So now we should start going out here where we see, where we start seeing the huge asteroids coming in. We'll see when the first one comes in. It takes a little bit of time before we get out here. Now our speed is not impressive, but again, this is a matter of just getting there, so who cares if it takes 5 minutes or 8 minutes or to get there, or 10 or 12 or whatever. So this is just in a nice tempo here, and this is the first of the big ones. Let's see who gets the honor. Boom, shoot it. And these will be keep shooting the medium, this one. Yeah, so we'll just take a look at once we get closer, once we get to like 90,000 kilometers, that's when it gets a little more intense, or of course if something goes wrong before then. So we're at around 92,000 kilometers, and I think that we get a nice little flurry of things coming in here, and you can see that things just get exploded pretty easily up front. Of course, the main concern will always be ammo, and whether we can keep up with ammo. We probably can't, but that's why we build up a stockpile. This is not about keeping up with ammo, it's about sort of having enough for the round trip. And you can see these big chunks, but they'll get shot down really easily. And even this one is probably the most basic one. So let's have a look at the ammo situation. If we look here, there we go. We can see that the only one that's dipping is the rocket fuel. We're down to 1.4, which means that we're back here. It was up here. We had minus 600, so we've basically been using 600 more than we have for this, but we still have another 1,400. So even... Oh, actually we stopped at the solar system, so now we've reached it, and while it's standing here, it'll actually just accumulate. It should accumulate, basically. Anything that comes in will just be turned into components for us. And now it then goes back. So now it just flies back, and then it will be stuck back here on... We'll just get it stuck back on Novus. So things are working great. This ship could easily fly out there. It used about 600 more than we produced in the trip. So having a stockpile of 1.5 means that we have both for the trip out and the trip back home without being in any kind of worry about ammunition here. So it's pretty nice, and the flight speed is also pretty good, like 190 or 185 or something. Flying, this is a pretty good speed, and we can, of course, if you want to make it fly faster, then sure you can, but it'll also use ammo a lot faster, or maybe even get into trouble. So the ship can definitely fly faster than it needs, but having it on a low utilization means that the thruster isn't really using much, and that means these are less busy, and that means again more of the resources are going into our ammo production. Not that resources are in any way, shape or form a problem. So as usual, this blueprint is available to Patreon supporters in the usual blueprint package. We have compiled quite a lot of blueprints over the years in various games, so all of those are available to the Patreon supporters of Protector tier, that's the $5 tiers or higher, and I will always continue to add more blueprints and designs and save games to that repository, so there's always going to be a value. Thank you very much for everyone who is watching, supporting, liking, sharing, subscribing, joining on Twitch streams and all that good stuff. We're streaming Factorio on Sundays where we are coming up with these cool designs together. So I'll see you maybe here on YouTube or maybe Discord or on Twitch. Until next time, take care and stay effective.